Hey guys, Castella with more 100% orange juice multiplayer online. Let's see if we can't just join a game already. Seal Bro. I tend to prefer the games with 3 players already playing because then I can just join in as the 4th one and no fuss, no muss essentially. So I'm just gonna ask if I can join. Is that a no? Don't leave me hanging, bro. Oh, it's a yes. So, we're gonna be able to play, and we're gonna be playing against Dust as Pete, Razorlith as Pete, and Cathalius as QP. So, I'm gonna be rooting for Cathalius for playing someone that's not Pete. Let's see if we can't collude against these two. I could fight you, and then I could fight you. I think I'll just fight QP. And then I'll warp away. Since, Mark versus QP is a favorable matchup in our sense, but less so against Pete, so I'm just gonna use the QP fight to teleport us back to our own island. That way we'll have some peace, while we can farm up stars or wins, whichever one we see fit. Normally as Mark, you would want to go for the combat normas, but against 2 Petes, not so much. However, if you get a lot of hyper cards, then Petes are easy targets, because you can start KOing them from full health once you reach level 3, using your hyper card. Since your hyper card does 1 damage per level you are. Excuse me for the drinking sounds, if you can hear them. I'm just, drinking some soup. Doing these videos can really leave you quite parched, and, sometimes you want a very cool drink, and sometimes you just want a warm, soothing drink, and, this time I've opted for the soup for that option. So we're gonna go on the star panel and get some stars. Puts us at 10 stars, makes us, allows us to level up if we land on a lollipop. I don't think it'll happen in the next few turns though, because we went for the long route. So Razorlith here is at 1 health, and Cathalius is at 2 health. If I were Dust, I would most likely want to pursue these two, get a double kill that would give us 4 wins on top of our 2 wins already, and that'll put us in a really good position. Actually, never mind, whenever there's 2 characters, two people playing as the same character, I always get mixed up, so Dust would get 4 wins, and Razorlith's the one that already had 2 wins. Alright. QP's gonna fight the Sentinel. And actually get knocked out, but this early on in the game, getting knocked out by a critter is actually probably a good thing, because you'll be able to revive with full health. And you're also denying your opponent any kills on you. Oh, that's a really shitty value. But we are marked, so we can easily defend against that. 1 damage dealt to the Sentinel by Pete. You should really defend this. Yeah, and 1 damage dealt to Pete by the Sentinel. Dust is safe because unless Razorlith had a dash card, you can't catch up to Dust in 1 roll. Cathalius would most likely want to revive on the next turn, because then she would be positioned behind Dust, most likely, but she got revived this turn, and that's not the end of the world, but that'll allow Dust to go on the offensive. I think this is just gonna be a star forming game for us. Things can obviously change, but for now we're gonna focus on the stars. Had we gotten 1 win off of like a critter, then I might have went for the 2 wins Norma for level 3, but as of now, 30 stars is definitely our best bet. So Razor Lip is gonna use a nice jingle, and I always tell people you should save your nice jingle until you're at least level 3, because then you'll get the maximum benefit of it. If you use nice jingle while you're level 1 or level 2, it's not a bad move, but you're getting less stars than you can actually milk out of it. We roll a 5, so then I guess we're going for the combat. And we're fighting a Seagull, which is not too bad. I was hoping to get a KO there, but... oh, that's really shitty. What's with all these critters rolling these 6s on us? I'm glad we're marked with a +1 defense. So Pete will most likely... or should I say Dust will most likely get the Sentinel KO here. Puts Dust at 1 win. Although, the only person going for wins Norma right now is Razorlith. So Kathleen is gonna stop by her own lollipop and then level up. That'll put everyone at level 2 now. So I would say things are more or less an even playing field. I'm gonna go for the drop. Yes, we did lose 12 stars, but I think it's a lot better than potentially warping here or here, because I quite enjoy being on our own island. However, Dust seems like they want to invade our privacy. The Charity gave us an invasion card, so I'm just gonna slap that down. And then we draw Stiff Crystal, and we're just gonna get rid of it. Stiff Crystal is... it has grown on me as a card, but in our current circumstances, where we have no hybrid cards to actually protect, Stiff Crystal is rather worthless for us. Razor revives from the Cloud of Seagulls. It's definitely one of the major benefits of playing Pete. With your recovery value of 4, it essentially means that your first revival roll will be a 50% chance. We'll get some more stars, and that 6 essentially negated the stars we lost on the drop panel prior. Hopefully we'll get to 30 stars before passing by our lollipop. If not, then we'll just have to make one more loop. And Dust is getting whittled away by the critters, so if we get into a position where Dust is at 1 health, then we're behind. We're behind Dust, then we'll most likely try to go in for the kill. Razorlith gets his 3rd win on the Seagull, so it wouldn't be a bad idea for Razorlith to go for wins Norma, at least for level 3 and level 4. Level 5 is debatable, just because 9 wins is quite hard to get in the mid to late game if you're not playing on a battlefield stage. So, Catholius is deciding what card they want to discard. Perhaps these cards are new to them? We roll a 5, and that lets us get on the bonus panel, so this was exactly what I was hoping for, that we'd get enough stars to reach level 3 on our next turn. And I apologize that I picked a game that's game speed 2, but beggars can't be choosers, essentially. So Catholius rolls a 6. And chooses to go for the warp as well. Now, a lot of players don't go for the, or should I say, go for the warp because they go for the warp because they don't want to lose stars. But my way of thinking is I'd rather lose stars than warp away from my like the island that my lollipop is on. This, of course, this only applies to Lagoon Flight and the other stage has 2 parts. I think it's called Sunset. And those stages, you should value staying on your Lollipop Island a lot more than the other stages where it's one big connected map and the warps more or less don't really influence your Lollipop potential, essentially. Since you can just waltz back to your Lollipop no matter how far you got warped away. Whereas on the separated stages, like the one we're currently playing, that's not so much an option, because the only way you can get back to your part of the island with the Lollipop, assuming you're on the other island, is through a warp panel. And even so, like on Lagoon Flight, that's a 30. It's a 67% chance, because there you warp on one, and then you have the potential to warp on one of the 3 remaining ones, and 2 of them are on the opposite island, and 1 of them are on the same island. We get a long distance shot. I don't really value that too much. Since our hyper card is essentially long distance shot, but we get wins from it. Well, we don't have our hyper card right now, but just putting it as a comparison. So I don't really like that Dust and Razor have 3 cards in hand each, so it really means that they could have a Blue Crow the second. So essentially we have to be really cautious if we want to fight either of them. Cathalius is less of a threat, although her hyper mode card is can definitely catch you off guard. He's a charity, and we get another forced revival. I'm assuming one of the Pete's put the forced revival in there. And I think at this point I wouldn't mind warping away. Mainly because I don't want to trigger my own trap, but also because we're quite a ways away from getting 70 stars for our level 4 Norma. And that we might be able to make that gain faster if we KO'd one of the players. So, in this case, I do want to get into combat. So, Dust is once again deciding what card they want to discard. As I'm assuming they're new players because I saw their levels before entering. Yeah, as new players, you're gonna have to do a lot of reading to memorize all the card effects. But once you get that down, then it becomes really like rudimentary to determine what you want to keep and what you want to discard. And the Sentinel actually KO'd Razorlith there. Razorlith? Yeah, there's no R, so Razorlith. That's, I guess, unfortunate because it would have been more preferable if we got the KO, but it's not the end of the world because we could easily just fight a critter and we fight the Sentinel essentially and get that back. So I'm gonna be mean and use a forced revival here. We do lose quite a bit of stars for using it, but it's not too big of a deal. Dust draws another card, and we might have to wait a little bit longer because actually Dust at this time Dust discarded almost immediately. Not very chatty, are we? That's okay. Some people like to chat. Some people just like to keep it to themselves. The chat option is available, so whether you use it or not is really up to you. Cathalius reaches level 3, so really the only one that's not level 3 now is Dust, and that's really just indicative that they're not on the island with their own Lollipop, and you can see that being a continual problem. You'd have to be really lucky with your rolls to actually level up. And I really don't want to go on a tangent again about warping away and stuff. I already talked about it like a few minutes ago. So, yeah. Let's just focus on the here and now. Well, we got a spectator joining us. This side chicken over here. They're not saying anything. I have to just Perhaps they wanted to join the game, but at this point, in joining, you should have known that, there were 4 people already, so maybe you do just want to, spectate. We can roll a 6, so I think we're gonna pass by and heal up on the lollipop. 3 health as Mark is acceptable. 2 health is also okay, but it's less malleable, because, if you have 2 health, you can't really use Big Magnum to counterattack, for example. Since Big Magnum would cost 1 health, and then you would be at 1 health, and then when they attack you, then you're more or less gonna get KO'd, since you have -1 evasion. Dust is at 2 health, Resolith is at 1. We might use the Big Magnum to try to fight Dust, but we didn't roll high enough for that anyway. At least we got the Seagull KO, and that's our first win of the game. So, Dust is most likely gonna stop by the lollipop and then level up. Puts everyone at level 3, and once again, we're on even playing ground. And this is one of the more, I don't know, I would say, balanced games I've played recently. Balanced in the sense that, we're all on, more or less, have like a currently more or less an equal chance of winning. Like, compared to my last game, like, I think my last video where I was playing, I joined a game and I was playing as Mark. I'm not scared of QP. I'm still not scared of QP. Yeah, we survived with 1 health. Yeah, compared to our last game... Also, I'm gonna talk about that bad decision later on, but... Yeah, compared to our last game, where we started as Mark on Warfare, we were level 1, and we somehow managed to win the game while we were still level 1 Norma. I'm gonna go get KO'd by a critter here if possible. I think the Sentinel will be able to survive. Oh, come on! Get rid of those a bit. Okay, let's talk about Cathellius' previous turn. They used the Extend card, and then they used the Hyper Mode card. And it's a waste because Hyper Mode essentially does what Extend does. And most of the time I would prefer to use Hyper Mode to get myself purposely KO'd, but here you're using Hyper Mode as a +2 attack boost. And that's not bad if, like, you have a high chance of getting a KO, but against a Mark with 3 health and 3 cards in hand that I could have used the Usabit there, which would have made it myself even more survivable, and I kind of regret not using it because the charity gave me a piggy bank, but that's really just my fault for not keeping track of the turn count for charity. Level 4, Resolute is level 4, so the boss did spawn. And we're gonna go take the side detour. I think Cathellius might pursue us. Especially now that the Super All-Out mode was used by one of these Petes. Ideally, it would be nice if we could preserve our Super All-Out mode for as long as possible, and then, I don't know, for example, try to snipe a boss KO. That's a rather impressive roll. And you did 8 damage to the boss! So, I think the next person who lands on the boss will most likely get the KO. That's crazy that Blue Crow II with the Super All-Out mode and the 6 roll. Oh, that's just beautiful. So, I think QP might, or Cathellius here might go for the boss kill, and using that Hyper Mode to get that boost, easily picks that up. Good news now is that, our 2 pursuers, lost their Super All-Out modes, but we still have ours. I think, Dust still has Super All-Out mode. So I think Dust might fight Razolith? He doesn't, actually, which is surprising, because, Razolith didn't have the Super All-Out mode, so now Dust can use the Pudding card to heal back to full. Although, Pudding is generally not good of a card on Pete, because you heal at most 2 health from using it. So, yeah, here I'm expecting The fight... So we're gonna use Rainbow Colored Circle to try to survive and counterattack. And that works out for us, so let's see what we get for a counterattack value. And we get the counter KO on Castella, but she does have the extend working for her. So we're just gonna try to run away from her using our one turn of leeway. Oh, that's interesting. So a forced revival is used by Dust. And that's really interesting because it doesn't negate the extend stock effect because it's still there, but it essentially delays it for the next time that Castella, however you pronounce your name, the next time that Castella gets KO'd. Oh, that's really shitty. Yeah, I was expecting that. I don't think I can survive this one though. So we'll get counter KO'd here. But I think we can catch up to Castella if we revive in a timely fashion. Although, I expect to fail the first revive, and then the second revive is a 50-50. We're at 70 stars though, so at least we can get to level 4 Norma. Ideally, we would KO Castella and then go back to our own lollipop, like our own island. We don't revive this turn, unfortunately. So Castella is gonna be able to reach level 4 Norma by stopping by her own lollipop. Dust uses the dash card, but I'm thinking he wanted to dash so that next turn he had a chance to KO Castella on her own lollipop, and that's actually a pretty smart move. But you would still have to roll 4 or higher for that to happen, so essentially a 50% chance. And that's also assuming Castella does stop on her own lollipop. Because you could tactically pass by your own lollipop to prevent that situation I mentioned previously from happening, but I don't believe Castella is thinking that far ahead. Oh, come on. How about we don't get Pity revived? Well, next turn will be roll 2 or higher, so... So here is the situation I mentioned. We might use a Blue Pro the second here to secure it, but, looks like that was the perfect amount of damage necessary for that to work. So the next turn, or at least this turn, Castella is gonna revive due to the extend stock effect. And then these three are just essentially gonna fight it out. And I want no part in this. You three can fight it all you want. I just want to warp back to my own island. Blue Crow the second versus an Usabit. Although, Razolith got the perfect 3 there, and Razolith is in an excellent position to win very soon. They're level 5, and they have 188 stars. So Razolith could win in the next few turns, assuming we don't stop them from doing so. Now, a really bad situation would be Razolith gets 200 stars and then Dust revives, so then Razolith could fight Dust on the lolly. Why would you shoot me? Like, why would you shoot me? I'm no threat right now. But anyway, like the situation I was mentioning previously, Razolith would use Dust, fight Dust, and then essentially get the final normal level up that way. Now, we have a Cloud of Seagulls, which I'm gonna use for the 50% chance of hitting Razolith here, and it works out for us, the 50%. It was rather risky because had we got hit instead, then we probably would have lost the game more or less. Let's see, Razolith is at 2 health now. And I think at this point we have to use the Oh My Friend. I need any way possible to stop Razolith from winning. We're not gonna fight you, and we're gonna go here. I want all of us to collude against Razolith. That's why I'm not fighting Dust. I would prefer Dust to be as healthy as possible when fighting Razolith. So Dust has the 1 health advantage. And surprisingly, Razolith uses Final Battle, which I think is a suicide wish unless you get a really good roll here. So Dust is gonna get one more roll. And unless you roll a 6 here for the evasion, you're not surviving. So now Dust essentially gained the lead here. And this was kind of what I was hoping for. But we're still rather behind in terms of Norma. And I'm really surprised we're not getting any of our hyper cards. So now we have a few more turns of leeway. Where I'm hoping that Dust gets KO'd by the boss, and that would essentially neutralize the board in terms of stars. A Sealed Guardian is used by Dust, so we're all at 1 health, except for Razalith, because he'll revive at full health, so I would have really waited one more turn before using that Sealed Guardian. Another extend used by Castella. I wonder why we don't get any of these neat cards. I want to roll low here. That's perfectly fine, so now we'll be in position to be behind the other characters. At least behind these two. Dust can creep up behind us later though, unless Dust rolls high. And we actually see here and there, which is kind of a good thing, because we got warped back to our own island. So these three can essentially fight it out for first place. Razalith is gonna try to get the revenge on Dust. I don't blame him. There's no surviving that without a rainbow colored circle. So now Razalith is back to being in the lead. Cloud of Seagulls hits us, which kinda shitty, because it's shitty for Castella, who's trying to get a KO on Razalith, but it's pretty good for us because we'll be able to revive with full health once we revive, essentially. However, the question remains if Razalith will win before that happens. Dust fails the revive roll. And Razalith lands on the boss, which is what I'm hoping for. That's why I used the Oh My Friend in the first place. Although the boss roll is a pitiful value, which, yeah, I would most likely defend against that, because any chance of getting KO'd with evasion is a shitty chance. Especially when you're in the lead. So we'll revive. That's fine, we should be able to level up to our level 4 in a turn or two. And then we can do some looping around our own island. So, Cathalia's level actually lands on the lollipop, but didn't have enough to level up there. Oh, that's shitty. That really is. That was the one thing I didn't want to roll. Because now we're back onto this, the South Island where we have no business being a part of. So I think Razalith is just trying to get the 200 stars and win. Although they warp into a very cluttered position right here. So we might be able to KO... oh, actually, that was Dust. I was gonna get those mixed up. Razalith used the Princess's Privilege to draw 2 cards. Although it did cost them... It drew 3 cards essentially, but if you use 1 card to draw 3, it's a +2 in like card terminology. But what I'm trying to get at is it wasn't really a good move in that sense. In the sense that you were close to 200 stars anyway. Why would you want to pay even more stars to get cards that won't help you get back to 200 stars? Is what I'm trying to get at. And Dust is using a Little War, which is a pretty good move. Although attacking me is not so much a good move, because we really need to collude against Razalith here. And really, it's your own funeral. These rolls are ridiculous. The double 6 roll, that's just mean. Well, it's on Dust to KO Razolith at this point, since QP and myself are out of commission. Razolith is thinking if they want to use a card, I believe. And he decides to go for Final Battle, which I really think is a bad decision, because you have 3 health, to the box is 6 health. And if you keep exchanging ones, then you're more than likely just gonna get KO'd. Although I guess it's kind of good news for the rest of us, because it'll make the boss easier for us to KO. So Razolith gets KO'd here, and I think we're more or less back to being neutral. Although neutral in terms of stars at least, since we're really behind in terms of Norma. I'm glad we revived there. So now I can pursue Dust. I might consider using the Big Magnum on Dust. It will probably be a good decision, because then we'd attack with a +3 attack value. This game is certainly going on a lot longer than normal. Easily indicative of the game speed. So we'll defend this and then counterattack with a pitiful value. Yeah, going for the evasion, definitely good choice there. Also, I forgot that Little War was in effect, so now we really can't use our Big Magnum card to good efficiency, since we only have 2 health. I gotta go for it, though. Because otherwise I'm just gonna get KO'd by QP, or like Capital ES next turn, and we're gonna get the KO on Dust since they didn't use an evasion modifier, which is kind of a good thing, because it'll offset the amount of stars we're gonna lose. Against Capital ES, assuming Capital ES rolls high enough to fight us this turn. A nice present used by Capital ES to potentially get more combat cards. And yeah, I'm not surprised you're gonna fight me at all. And another hyper mode card offensively. Must really want this piece of meat right here. Gotta go for the evade here, but no surviving the roll of an 8. Why don't you go for the Pete? Oh, why aren't you fighting Pete, man? Are all 3 of you gonna collude against me? I'm not even the threat right now. Razolith rolls a 2, lands on a flamethrower, and lost their entire hand. So they can kiss goodbye to any hyper cards they were hoarding. I would honestly have fought Dust there, because now you're gonna have to fight the boss and most likely get KO'd. You know, by the way these guys are playing, most likely they're colluding against me. And I don't mind that. I think it makes it more challenging. Good old challenging fun. There's no reason for Dust to go on the lollipop. So Dust is actually gonna fight Catholius here. But with the rainbow colored circle and the pitiful attack value of 2, that's an easy evasion. I'm really surprised Dust went with the evade. I know there was only like 1 roll that would have gotten you killed, but even so, 1 roll is not 0 rolls, or 0 possibilities. So Catholius is now also level 5. We're the only ones that are essentially a level that are not 5. And for once we actually get our hyper card. That's really surprising. I don't want to use it right now though. I think I'm not gonna use the Force Revival. I'm gonna reach our level 4 finally, and we'll get rid of the piggy bank, because at this point we're probably not gonna be able to go back to our own island to place it on and then try to milk it. I don't think we have very many turns left anyway. Another Sealed Guardian goes down, so you can see how long this game's actually gone on, because, Sealed Guardian is usually a card that you'd only see once. We can... There was a chance we could have evaded that, essentially, but, we got really shitty luck there. And this game's gone on for a humorous amount of time, so at this point I'm just thinking, someone please just win so I can go on to the next one. Oh... Next stand is used by Dust. Dust lands on a bonus panel for some stars. Most likely, I would say Castella is the highest contender for winning. If Razolith gets a KO on Castella though, then Razolith would most likely win. So Castella has a decision to fight Razolith or be pursued by him next turn. And decide to go for the card draw, and I assume probably hope to draw a Hyper card to get out of that situation. So Razolith draws another card. No, Dust draws another card. Razolith uses a Cloud of Seagulls, which KOs Castella, and that's really bad for us, because now we can't KO Castella ourselves to take half her stars. We do, however, have our Hyper card, so I would most likely want to try to pursue Castella, or at least set it up so that someone else could pursue Castella. Dust goes for another card draw there. Razolith lands on a vanilla tile. Turn 44. I would like to use Forced Revival, but at this point it's kind of moot. We'll go for the Lollipop. Because I want to minimize distance to reaching Castella. Dust doesn't go for their Lollipop, even though it would have been a good move because it would have healed you. And Razolith warps to the other side of the map. We are going to... We're gonna fight Dust. And then use a big Magnum here. Go for the kill. And that was probably necessary to get that guaranteed kill. So that'll put us at 120 health. Not health, 120 health will be absurd for this game. It will put us at 120 stars. So now QP, or Castella, is revived, and I have to make a decision if I want to use my Big Rocket now or later. Because if I use it later, once I reach the level 5 normal, then it's a guaranteed KO, right? So I go for the later option, but that's probably risky. Because Castella could win next turn. Or this turn, even. She has to roll a 6 for that to happen, though. And Dust is gonna go in for a fight. Castella uses the Usabit to defend, so she'll only take 1 damage. And then Dust goes to the evasion, obviously, against that roll of 2. Razolith is actually really close to winning. I can't stop Razolith and Castella at this point. So, I think, yeah, at this point I'm just gonna try to reach that level 5 normal, and then get that, that bonus. And there's another Big Rocket, though, so I'm full of shit. I'm thinking using Big Rocket combined with Forced Revival, actually. That can take care of Castella, at least. But, Razolith is out of my reach. Until I can warp back there, at least. Or maybe I should just use my 2 Big Rockets to delay Razolith's, level up as long as possible. Or you can just roll a 2 here and win, but that's the anticlimactic way. So Castella is gonna land on the boss, and I'm really hoping that she gets killed by the boss. the castle actually went for the evade there. Oh, that's shitty. Oh, we lost the dash card. If we had the dash card, we could have dashed to fight Castella. So now there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to use the big rocket on Castella here to delay her level up. And that's also shitty. We have to fight the castle. It's really messing up with my plans. We got KO'd here. We got nothing left to lose at this point. We still have enough stars for one more big rocket use, though. So Dust is actually gonna go for the boss kill, which is an okay move, but yeah, that was a pretty okay move. So now Dust is probably gonna win now. Essentially, it's been a tug of rope between these three. Now we see a forced revival going down, used by Razolith, but if you rolled a 1 here, then that really wouldn't have mattered. I can't stop all three of them from winning. I just have to pick the worst of all worlds, essentially. I'm gonna use this on Castella again. They are physically the closest to the lollipop. I'm kind of regretting not going for wins at this point. But I did not anticipate getting 12 wins over the course of this game. And we see Razolith rolling that 4. So, good game. Razolith is the winner. We come in last place, unfortunately. We spent most of our stars trying to prevent the other people from winning, so we're probably not going to get too much experience. Oh, yeah, that's a pretty shitty result. 350, 336 experience. And, yeah, this video has gone on long enough. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again in a perhaps more exciting game. Castella out.